Well, hello again, all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie of Georgia Beer Reviews back at you with another edition of Stout Sunday. All right. And joining me this morning, we have Mr. Ron Terrio, a.k.a. It's His Prerogative, a.k.a. Louisiana Beer Reviews. Good morning, Ron.
Hi.
And we have Mr. Michael Kormaroff from Brooklyn, the Stout King. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year to all.
That's right. Happy New Year, everybody. We've got Craig in the chat. Happy New Year to you. And he says, Happy Stout Sunday to all. Happy Stout Sunday to you, Craig. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get right into it. We'll start with you, Ron. What are you drinking this morning?
I have a beer that Wayne Allen, that's his alias name. His real name is Wayne Franklin. Wayne Allen Franklin. But he's like me. He's got to use aliases names because he says things, he gets in trouble, and you have to have a backup account when you get banned for a while. All right, but this is Workhorse Prussian Imperial Stout, 10% alcohol, sent to me by Wayne from Pennsylvania. I got this Thursday, I think it came in. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Michael, what are you drinking?
Okay, this is from Zawiec, Poland, and it's called Zawiec Porter, and it's 9.5% and 45 IBUs. This company started a long time ago, let's see what it was. I wrote it down.
1881? No.
It's earlier than that. 1856.
Oh, right. 1856.
Wow. Okay.
So, it's an older Polish company, and it's one I've had before, but it's reliable, very reasonably priced. I know if you can read the bottle, $1.99 for this 16.9 ounce bottle. It's at the bottom, anywhere at the top right here. There's a label. Okay. I have already poured it, so it's not super cold. So that's what it looks like in the glass.
Okay. God, it's so bright in there. It's hard to tell does it have a head on it at all, or is that just white?
It had one originally, and then it just faded away.
Okay.
So, and I guess when you do get to these higher alcohol things, even at close to 10%, the head doesn't always stay very long. I didn't want to drink it super cold, so I let it air out a little bit. The head was tan when it started, but now it's kind of like very faded.
Right. Okay. All right. And I've got from Pontoon Brewing out of Sandy Springs, Georgia. This is the Tall, Dark, and Smoky, 7.5% alcohol. They usually list the IBUs on their labels, but they did not for this one, so I don't know what the IBUs are. It's a collaboration between Pontoon Brewing and Phillips Barbecue Company, and it's a smoked porter, which is probably why it's a collab with the barbecue people, the smokiness. It's got vanilla and cacao nibs added to it, 7.5%. So I have never had this. Looking forward to getting into it. I bought a 4-pack of the 16-ounce cans, and it was $11.99 for the 4-pack, which not terrible for 16-ounce cans, and it's a 7.5%. So hopefully it's tasty. It'll be worth it. All right, let's go back around. We'll get into these porters and stouts. We'll start back with Mr. Terrio and his Workhorse Prussian Imperial Stout.
Well, you can see what happened to the head of foam. It didn't last. It was beige. Oh, Michael, I'm sorry, but guess what? Your plan did not work. He tried, though, y'all.
Oh, you're getting echo?
Yeah, I can hear like, blah, 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 blah. But when you click mute, it went away. It went away. Now, all right, so I don't know how long this company's been in business, because when you look at the website, it doesn't really tell you. It just says, you know, two friends got together and, you know, that same old story. But smells, you know, and they live their dream. You know that, you know, this websites are. It smells like dark roasted barley malt, a little chocolate, a little coffee. It doesn't contain that. This company is big on only making traditional styles. They're not into all of this like guava and adding, you know, whatever they add to beers now. So let's go with the taste. Cheers, you all.
Cheers.
Cheers, Jay.
All right, look. First thing you get is a rush of metallic, which to me,
Oh,
is not a positive attribute. I don't really want to taste metallic. Then there's an underneath grain husk, which you do get a lot of times with high gravity lagers when they get above 8%, you know, those adjunct high gravity lagers. But you can get that in some powerful ales, stout ale like this, stout porter ale. It's like grain husk, like the barley husks were left in. It's full bodied. There's a slight little bit of syrupy mouthfeel. One good thing about this beer is it doesn't taste like, it doesn't have a body that's thin like a porter is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't have a, because we've been complaining about beers having these thin porter bodies, but they calling them stouts. Like David and I were talking about Thin Fighty recently.
Thin Fighty.
Oscar
Wow.
Blues, yeah, Oscar Blues Thin Fitty. That's been on the market the last 3 years.
I'm a little surprised you don't think that one has a lot of body. I always found that it was pretty
Yeah, well,
sturdy. Was that you? Was that you or David that said that, or both of you?
no, we both were saying that. So that was the deal. We were saying, what happened to 10 Fitty? Because why is it thin like a porter all of a sudden? And so then everybody started making the joke, and it was other people on the internet too. It wasn't just us talking about Thin Fitty. So, but I have a can from 2021. Y'all remember back in 2021, back in those days? But I have a can from way back then, and I'm going to review it and see how it is. Let's go on. I remember 2021 like it was just almost yesterday. I know, it's weird.
Crazy.
I'm crazy. Bitterness is I haven't even drank too much. Bitterness is low. So I don't know what the IBUs are, but they can't be too high. Sweetness, low. I say 2 out of 5 sugar cubes, 2 out of 5 sugar sweetness units. Bitterness, 1.5 out of 5 hop cones. So it's kind of low profile on the flavor. You wouldn't call this a bold product. I wouldn't call it a bold product. The finish is dry too, so no real sweetness in the finish. Not a whole lot of sweetness in the flavor. You get the coffee and the cream and a dark roasted barley malt. But you know that the downside is the metallic in the grain husk. I'm not saying it's tasting like just metal and grain husks. I'm not saying that, but that's noticeable. So, you know, what can I do? Oh, one more thing. Żywiec, when they started that in the 1850s, it was started in a town called Żywiec. But at the time, that was occupied by Germany, because, you know, Germany, Austria, and Russia got together. Germany, Austria, and Russia got together in a collaboration, and they all took over Poland. They divided Poland into 3/3. So there was no Poland on the map from 1795 to 1918. No Poland. And when the Germans ruled Żywiec, they called the town in their language Säbusch. So it was Säbusch beer of the German Empire. But then when Poland got their independence, then they said, hell no, it's Żywiec of the Great Poland.
Nice. All right. The more you know, people. Okay, well, that's a nice segue into Michael Kormaroff and his Zviech Baltic Porter.
Okay, so as you can see from it, there is no head left. It is completely gone. When John looked at it before, there was kind of like a slim edge left in the process of going away. Now it's completely gone. I guess that has to be related to the higher alcohol. It just doesn't want to hold a head, whatever. But it's, very dark brown. If you look at it in the light, maybe you can get some like brown on the bottom, but you can't really see through it. It's fairly opaque. Looks like a good, to look at this beer, you'd say you see the brown at the bottom over here. So
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So it's not opaque totally. Let's get a nose on it. Getting the dark roasted malts, maybe a little bit of toffee or caramel kind of smell.
Michael, let me just say real fast. That is one of the best porters I've ever had in my life. And I am not joking. And I don't exaggerate about stuff like that.
No, I actually agree from the past times I've had it. And it's a good value for the money too.
And I bought it in New Jersey. And it's the only time I ever saw it in my life.
I've never had it, unfortunately. Never seen it.
It seems like it's just an East Coast product, which is very weird. It comes across on boats, and this is as far as it seems to make it. I don't know why. Whoever the distributor is, they don't send it out from, the New York area. It comes into our area. I guess maybe it'll make it to, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, areas where they can ship it by truck easily.
Yeah, we don't even get the regular Zviech in Louisiana, so.
Okay, so let's get to the taste.
Cheers, Michael.
Cheers, Miguel.
Cheers. Okay, the taste follows the nose. You're getting a little bit more coffee in the taste. So I didn't get the coffee in the nose, but it's definitely in the taste. It's medium bodied, but at the very top of medium, almost bordering on full. So this is a porter that drinks more like a stout. It's full bodied, and it's the mouthfeel is more on the thicker side. Now the alcohol is really well masked, so this is one to be extremely careful with. It's 9.5%. It's drinking more like a 6% kind of thing. You can tell that there's alcohol in it because of that full-bodied kind of feel, you get when you're drinking these more higher alcohol beers. So if you were blindfolded, I don't think you would think it's 9.5, but you know it's not a 4.5% session beer.
Isn't it funny, Michael? There's porters that drink like stouts and stouts that drink like porters.
It's just the way it is. And I think, and this is just my own observation, Baltic porters seem to be more full-bodied than some of the other porters, it seems. I don't know if that's in the brewing style or what the reason is.
Yeah, and one more thing. It's not an ale, is it? It's not an ale.
No, it is not an ale.
It's a lager.
It's a lager.
Crazy world.
Now, it's imported by Amtech International, and I've never heard of them. But it's the kind of thing where it ends up being kind of like a New York metropolitan area find, and I'm very happy that we can always get it.
Yeah, I would buy it up for $1.99 for a bottle, 9.5%. Gets great reviews. Everybody seems to like it, so
it's definitely very, very easy drinking, and one that I'm saying you'd have to take some care with. You don't want to be chugging this. I mean, it could be very dangerous quickly, but I'm enjoying it a lot, and it is highly recommended. Hopefully, at some point, and maybe John, when you come down later to visit me, we'll have one of these, or I'll give you one to take back to Massachusetts with you when you do go back then.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm looking forward to trying it. It's one of those. It's that and the what's the other one? I think it's a porter as well. I don't think it's Zviech.
Yeah, it's the Black Boss Porter.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly the other one I was thinking of.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
another Polish porter from somewhere in the similar part of Poland.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a good. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Okay, so the only other point I could make, it's 45 IBUs, so there's some mild bitterness, but the bitterness is not intense in this one. It's more I think the bitterness is in the coffee, and it drinks well with the beer. So the finish is also dry, but it makes you want to have another sip. So I'll come back and give a number when we come around again.
All right. Good deal. Thank you, Michael. Okay. So Pontoon Brewing, tall, dark, and smoky. You don't know how bad I wanted to put commas in between those three words there, tall, dark, and smoky, but it's not how it's written on that's not how it's labeled, so I didn't add them in there. Anyway, it did pour with a little bit of a tan head. As you can see, it's pretty much gone, but there's a little thin film left around the top of the glass there. The appearance, it is very dark brown. When I hold it up to the light, I can see a little bit of brown, the bottom edges of the glass there. The aroma with this, definitely very smoky. If you've ever had a good rock beer, that's what you're getting with this. The nice smoked malt character, which is really nice.
Smoky.
The vanilla's coming through. They do add vanilla. And maybe a little bit of chocolate. But it's hard to, I wouldn't necessarily think just based off of the aroma that they added the cacao nibs in there. It just, you're getting a little bit of chocolate. It seems like it's more from the malt, not necessarily from any additives. But it smells really good. None of the 7.5% is coming through at all. Good collab beer for the barbecue, between Pontoon and the Phillips barbecue people, because it does have that smoky character to it that you get with any good barbecue. All right, so it smells like a winner. Let's get into it. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, John.
Very nice. Nice and smoky and roasty right up front. Dark toasted bread notes, not burnt, but very dark toasted bread notes coming through. The smoky character is really nice. It's not too smoky, but it's definitely, there's no mistaking that this is a smoked beer. The vanilla comes through. So you kind of get like a sweet and smoky thing. You get the chocolate and the vanilla, and then you get the smokiness and the deep, dark roasted malt character. So it's a nice balance between the two. The body it's more like a porter than a stout. It's kind of medium, and it's not thin, and you're getting a ton of flavor from the smoked malt and the vanilla in particular. Not so much from the chocolate, a little bit from the chocolate, but that vanilla and the smoked malt are really the star of the show. None of the alcohol's coming through. The carbonation with this is low. It does have a nice little prickly carbonation, but it's not quite on the medium side. But it's getting there. But there's definitely a nice little prickly carbonation there, and the finish is very smoky and kind of lingers. That smokiness kind of lingers on the insides of your cheeks after you swallow it down.
Were you about to say it had a perpendicular aspect to it?
A perpendicular aspect? No, I don't.
Sound like you caught yourself, like you were about to say this beer has a perpendicular. Oh, no.
No, that wouldn't make any sense now, would it?
No.
I'm enjoying this. It's nice. It's a lot different than some of the beers that I've been drinking. The smoked aspect, the smoked malt is really nice, and you don't really see a ton of beers like that these days. The smoked malt. I used to see a ton of rock beers, like I would say 3 to 5 years ago, and now they're becoming fewer and fewer. So it's nice to get a nice, smoked malt-based beer every now and then. I'm really enjoying it. But it's really a nice balance, like I said, between that sweet with the vanilla and the chocolate, and then the smoky from the smoked malt. And it's very roasty, toasty, bready. What else could you want in a beer other than maybe, barrel age it or something? But we won't get into that. Okay. Cheers to Josh, last beer in the chat. Craig, Jeremy, Miscellaneous, all you guys, thanks for tuning in. Okay, so yeah, I'll come back around here in a little bit and give a rating. Let's go back around the panel and get some ratings on these beers. We'll start back with you, Michael. What are you thinking of the Zivik Baltic Porter? You are muted.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. I like it. And I'm probably with Jay. This is one of my favorites. I'm trying to think of something else I like as much in a Baltic Porter. There might be something, but this is in the top range for sure. And it's going to get a high number because whenever I have it, it's consistently good. It's been involved in my beer tasting with my blind taste test with my friends, and it always finishes near the top. It's not going to be doing well when it's taking on barrel-aged action because that stuff just cleans up and there's nothing you can do. Because we've discussed this too. When the styles are put together and you're comparing them, some will do better just based on, I guess we won't call it gimmicky because they're actually doing barrel aging. It's just it gives the beer an advantage when you rate it. It's almost like that bourbon or that rye or rum, whatever you barrel age it with, gives that beer like an extra zest, and that's an advantage. But I'm going to give this a 96. And for a Baltic Porter, I think that's a very good score, but it deserves it. And so it's a solid A, and it's among the best ones I've ever had. So, it's right up there. Are we going to do show and tell after? Come back one more time around?
Yeah, we'll come back. We're doing really good on time since it's just the three of us.
Okay.
We'll get through these numbers, and then we'll have a nice show and tell session. Craig says a heavy malt presence is sorely missing in a lot of today's craft beers. I agree with you, Craig. And he's speaking mostly of IPAs. Yeah, we've kind of gotten on a hop craze, especially with a lot of these juicy IPAs, and it is easy to kind of overlook malt character in a lot of these beers because there really isn't a ton of it. They're so focused on all the hops.
Yeah.
Good comment, Craig.
And bringing that up, you don't want to make sure you do not watch the video reviews that David Garlapete and I did with Sierra Nevada Wild Little Thing or the New Belgium Future Hop, because you don't want to hear what he had to say about them.
Oh, boy.
If
the
you
Wild
see
Little Thing, I was actually kind of impressed with it. It was pretty simple, but it had a good flavor to it. And I remember watching David kind of rip that one apart. You didn't really care for it either. I think you gave it a low B.
No, we never did a video for Wild Little Thing. We did Hazy Little Thing.
Oh, Hazy Little Thing. Okay. I just watched one that you did, or maybe it was your solo review of the Wild Little Thing, and I think you gave it like an 83, which I thought was kind of on the low side, but
still
anyway.
a B.
Still a B, but yeah.
Didn't
just out of that B- range. All right, so we've got a 96 in the books for Michael with the Zivik. What do you think about the workhorse Prussian Imperial Stout?
Well, I don't really like drinking metal. Y'all might be into that, but I'm not. I'm not into metal fetish. Tell you the truth, not really into grain husk. I tell people, don't send me beer, but they do it anyway. I'm like Michael Corleone. I try to get out and they keep dragging me back in. I don't hate the beer. If I hated the beer, I'd give it a D, right? If I thought it was just average, I'd give it a C. If I thought it was undrinkable, I'd give it an F. It's none of those three. It's in the good range, if you want to make that argument. So, okay, all right. I'll make that argument. I'll go to bat for it. Even though it has some rather noticeable negative qualities, it still does have some good qualities, like the coffee, the cream, the chocolate, the dark roasted malt, the stout-like body for a stout, unlike the porter-like body for stouts that we've been encountering. I mean, I saw on the website they're selling it for $20 a 4-pack. If I paid $20 a 4-pack, I'd be pretty hot right now. But I wouldn't have been as hot as I was when I tasted that Brooklyn Black Ops 4 Roses 4-pack that I paid $14.99 for and couldn't even get out of the C range. I'll repeat that. Couldn't even get out of the C range. 12.4%. And definitely do not watch the one David did with me on that, because you don't want to see that. This is somebody just flipping out, cracking up, going crazy, angry, enraged. It's terrible, horrible video. I mean, I'm gonna give it an 83. It's good. You could make the argument that it's good.
All right.
But this is what we've come to now. But I mean, Workhorse, they worked hard like a workhorse, and this is what they achieved. All right. So.
Okay. Well, for my tall, dark, and smoky, I'm really enjoying this. It's a nice, refreshing change to a lot of the beers I've been drinking lately. That smoked malt character really shines. The vanilla's coming through. That sweet and smoky contrast is really enjoyable. The alcohol 7.5 is non-existent. It's definitely, it's not really bitter, but the smokiness, a lot of people would say that you don't really need a super bitter beer when you have a really smoky beer, because you're getting the contrast between the malt, the smoked malt, and then the sweetness from the vanilla and the cacao nibs that they're adding. So I'm going to go with a 96. I think it's a solid A. I would definitely recommend it. It's one of the better Pontoon beers that I've had the last several months. I've had a couple of their IPAs recently that I've not really been into. I think Jay will agree. I've seen some of the reviews that you did on the Pontoon, a couple of the IPAs that they put out, and they just really can't compete with the real deal. Like their so-called juicy IPAs, they can't compete with the stuff that you guys get up there, Michael, in New York, and then in the greater New England area, especially with some of the stuff that's available up there. It's just not even close.
Oh, so you watch some of those Pontoon videos I made?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've had a couple of the ones that you reviewed, actually, because we get a ton of their stuff here, and I'm impressed how their distribution keeps expanding. They're even available up in parts of Massachusetts. I know that
Wow.
Brandon and Trish and Bumpy. I don't think Bumpy got it in New Hampshire, but he got one of their IPAs when he went down to a trip down to Massachusetts. He got some of their stuff, so their reach keeps expanding. All right, so we got two 96s and an 83. Okay, so we'll go ahead. I think Jay's going to get some show and tell stuff. Michael, if you got anything too.
Okay, this came from my future son-in-law. I think he picked it up in his neighborhood, and it's from Duclaw Brewing. It's called Pastry Archie.
Oh, nice. Okay. Here, let me blow you up.
It's a banana bread pudding Hefeweizen at
Banana bread.
6.2%. And I'll read what they say on the side, John. It might entice you a little bit if you can get this beer from Baltimore. Sip this banana forward bread pudding delight, and your senses will be enveloped in aromas of banana, chocolate, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, and confection. Delivered on a backdrop of classic spiced Hefeweizen, it's light to medium bodied and slightly sweet. Enjoy in traditional Hefeweizen vase glassware of your choice or straight from the can.
All right.
And Greg would be upset because there's no date on it.
Oh yeah, that's horse hockey.
Which means it's going to be lower to grade, right? Right after you drink it, you're going to say, hey, you lose a grade. If it's a B, it becomes a C, and straight down, because you don't put the date on it, that's it. You're in trouble.
Of course, if you
we all know that I don't agree with that.
Of course, if you break the code, you know that if it has no date and it scores a C, it's really a B, and if it's a B, it's really an A, and so forth.
We've heard these things. Oh, it also says on the side, ale brewed with pureed banana juice, cinnamon, nutmeg, and cocoa nibs. So it's interesting ingredients for sure.
Right.
Nice.
So that's my show and tell for today.
That sounds really good because you get the banana notes from the yeast that they use with the Hefeweizen, and then you add the banana juice and the puree in there. That sounds like it's going to be an explosion of banana on the palate there, which sounds really good.
I've had banana bread beers that I really liked in the past too. So I think I do like banana beers in general. So I should like this.
The evil banana beer is really good. That's probably the only one that I've had.
Right. Same here. Only thing Michael needs now is plantains.
Yeah.
They brew beers with anything now. I mean, it's almost like in craft beer, you can get almost anything, but you just have to, give it a fair chance, drink it, and see what you think. I was never high on mango in beer, but I've had a few that were okay. So I can't say none are good and whatever. Some can be bad, though, and that's why I wonder. But it's like anything else.
Probably be Chitlin beers coming up next. Chitlin beers, but I'm not drinking Chitlin beers because I ain't eating Chitlins.
Well, some beers, they go way over the top. And I was reading not too long ago, Rogue, which is a pretty big popular brewery, at least in some parts of the country. They actually brewed a beer using yeast that was grown in one of the brewer's beers. They somehow took beard yeast and used it in a beer, which sounds absolutely disgusting, and I would not drink that beer. There are limits to my consumption. Yeah, I would not be willing to try that.
Anybody that would drink that and think that's good would probably think that a McRib is a gourmet food item,
No, but I'll eat a McRib. I'm not drinking beard yeast.
No, neither me. But that's only because I have good sense.
Right.
I can't think of what the specific beer was. It was a Dogfish Head beer where they were putting in some like seed or something that had to be chewed up. And what it was is the different staff had to chew this stuff up. But to be fair, they at least dried it and sterilized it, so you weren't getting the people's saliva when it was thrown into the brew tank. But still, their saliva was in it at one point. That might turn some people off.
It would definitely turn me off.
And that's why they're no longer independently owned.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the reason, but I mean, they definitely are.
Didn't help their cause, probably.
No. But now it's a subsidiary.
But I think if you look at it, and I haven't had any specific Dogfish Head stuff lately that's new, but I think that they do still have the free reign to at least brew the beers that they're known for. But maybe they have less free reign to do weird stuff. That's possible.
Yeah. All right. So Jay, I know you've got some show and tell
We
for
did
us. What do you?
we did a Dogfish Head Camp Amp. My friend David brought over a bottle, Camp Amp. I said, you mean Campfire Amplifier? He says, no, it's called Camp Amp. I said, oh, they must have got into some kind of trademark trouble because, it was clearly called Campfire Amplifier when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's been renamed Camp Amp. So they must have got in a threatened lawsuit. But anyway, I'm not worried about Dogfish Head.
Yeah.
Or their buyout. But anyway, well, there's so much to cover. I mean, I've got these taste challenges coming up. I got people sending me beer not left and right, but at least left or right. Brandon and Trish. I guess right now we could say Brandon and or Trish, but hopefully in 2022 we're going to see Brandon and Trish again as a unit in the beer world. That's my optimism, I have these mezcals coming up. Now I bought this here. These are taste challenges. This is called La Hita. Reposado. It's rested on oak barrels for 5 months. Wow, 5 whole months. But it's been around for a good long time. It's they claim it's so great. Well, of course, it's the company. We'll see how great it is. Do I have a taste for tequila and mezcal? I wouldn't go that far. I don't actually think I ever would want to drink it, but I mean, I have a bunch of bottles, so I'll do reviews. And the good thing about this, it's got a larva in it. So not only do you get the product, you got like a worm in it. So that's always a benefit, I guess.
Interesting.
And I got another one with a worm in it, the Monte Alban, and so forth. Still, if you ever come back to Louisiana, I still got this bottle of Caliber.
Nice.
Which I forgot to bring to you, which that was my fault. And once we're finished with mezcal, then why ask why? Because you know what? It's time for rye. It's time for rye.
Canadian Hunter. Right. All right.
Hunter rye. 90 proof rye. So I found this in Arlington, Texas, full-size bottle. Couldn't get a full-size bottle in Louisiana, but I was so delighted to find that. $11.99. That's a good price, $11.99. Wednesday we have Joker's Wild Wednesday, which was not stolen from any other idea necessarily. Then the rest of the month is beers for wintertime. And I think y'all could come up with a lot of good ideas for winter beers. I know I can.
I think any of the beers on today's show would qualify as good winter beers.
I agree with that, yes.
All right. Is that all you have to show us, Ron?
No, but I mean, we do have some time limits.
We're good. If you got,
it's just like an endless cycle of this, that, this, that.
All right. Well, I'll just show a couple of things here. So I'll show this first. This is what I was going to do for Stout Sunday, but I thought maybe it would be a little too much to start my day. I haven't had anything to eat yet, so starting with a 12% might not be a good idea. But this is never seen it before. The Kentucky. First of all, I've never seen the Kentucky beers in cans. This is the first time I've seen their stuff in cans. But this is the Maple Barrel Stout, 12% alcohol, and it is aged for 18 months in bourbon maple syrup barrels.
That's a year and a half for those who can't add up.
Right. For all you simple-minded viewers out there, that's a year and a half. And then I was super excited to see this. Ron, I know you've had it. Michael, I think we were talking about this the other day. I think you've had it as well, but I have never seen it before this past week. I've been wanting to try it since it came out. The Stella Artois Midnight Lager.
Oh man, I drank that like 3 years ago.
Right. I never saw it. I looked everywhere for it, never could find it. Well, finally came to my area, limited edition. It's got a good date on it, best before March 17th, 2022. So can't wait to try it. The only thing I don't like about it is they bottle it in an 11.2 ounce bottle. But
total ripoff, because it's made in New York, so you can't use the excuse that it's from Belgium.
Right. So anyway, 5.4% alcohol. So yeah, I'm excited. So look for a review coming up soon on the Midnight Lager and the Kentucky Maple Barrel Stout.
Hey, I can show you one more thing. Well, actually, I can show you a lot more things. But you want to see something else?
Absolutely.
Hold on. So let me put these mezcals. I don't know. You've never had mezcal, right?
No, I've had plenty of tequila, but I've never tried mezcal. I'm assuming it's similar from what I've seen of your reviews and
yeah, pretty much the same thing.
Cheers, Brian. So Jay's going to get a few more things. Michael, there you go.
Yeah. All right, just unmute. After Jay's finished, I have another beer to show.
Okay. It's funny because I've got so many exciting things, It's incredible. Wayne Allen shouldn't be sending me all this. He sent me this beer from Poland. It's called Harness. I've heard about Harness, but I've never had it. I got this on my porch Thursday. I was like, oh yeah, it's on now. It's on now.
Huh.
6% alcohol, a good Polish malt liquor, always malt liquor. What you know about that? So this is, interestingly, imported by Amtech of Brooklyn, New York. Wink, wink, Michael.
Same one that does the
Zivich, water, malt, barley, wheat malt syrup. You always want to have some good syrup in your beer. Hops. It's got a date, guys. So that's good. This was sent to me by Wayne. I know you're all about to get jealous, but don't get too jealous. Just get a little jealous.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Oh, it's brewed in Baltimore. Okay.
Oh,
I guess I knew that. All of the variants.
Stout brew, but allspice, ginger, nutmeg, and cinnamon. I was at Trader Joe's. Michael knows this already. Michael saw this. This is a repeat for him. I was at Trader Joe's, and they had these for half price. They were normally $8. They had them for $4, $7.99 to $3.98.
Whoa. Oh, tiramisu. Okay. Pastry stout.
This big bottle is only 8% alcohol. And then it followed up with this.
Chocolate babka. Okay. Now, who makes those two? What's the brewery?
This one rocks in at only 10%. It's called Octopi Brewing.
Okay.
They only do contract brewing. They don't make their own brands. They only contract brew for other people out of Wisconsin, not just Trader Joe's. Now, I found this in Bethurns for $1.99. This is not the normal price. It's a lot more expensive, but it's a new thing from Jim Beam Suntory. It's created with Larios, the Aviation. This is called On the Rocks Premium Cocktail. It's a prepackaged bottled cocktail, and it is 20% alcohol, colored with vegetable juice. It's made with imported London dry gin. Well, if I drank that whole bottle, who knows what I will say on the internet? I'm sure it wouldn't be good. Well, it might be good, but it'd be outrageous.
The truth will come out. It may not be, PC, but that's what happens. All right,
John, if you want, you can cue me up because this next one's for you.
Oh, all right.
From Lithuania.
Oh, effing awesome.
You see the guy smoking the cigar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that one years and years ago. I remember seeing it, but I don't think I tried that one.
16%. They're calling it an imperial lager. And what else did they say about it? It's bottle conditioned, which is okay. I mean, it's traveled from, again, Lithuania, so it's, and these beers from Rinskjol, or however you want to pronounce it.
Rinskaya, that's the people like the lobster lovers.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
the same one that make the lobster lovers from Burzai, Lithuania. Anyway, these beers have done extremely well at some blind tastings and sometimes not very well at all. So it depends how your group takes this. But we know it's not an ale. It's definitely a lager. And I don't know when I'll do it, but certain people in my group really like this kind of beer. And, they're kind of, when they taste it, they can tell that it's one of the Lithuanian beers. They're not sure which one they're getting, because they have before and after. And it's funny, in John's when he first moved, you were able to get them because they disguised the alcohol.
I used to be able to get them at the Super H Mart, the Asian supermarket. They had them all there, and then I guess the Georgia people were shopping in there, and they realized they were breaking the law, and they put an end to it. But yeah, we used to get all of those here. Now I don't think. Have you ever had the effing awesome one before, or no?
I think I have, but it's funny. They have all these high. It's like there are levels of it. There's a 16. There's a 15 also that I've had too. And the lower ones you still can probably get in Georgia if they still bother with it. Like the before and after is only 12. And I think the lobster lovers was only 8 or 9. So
I think it was 9%. Yeah, I've had the lobster lovers one. I actually really liked it.
So those you can probably still get if they sell it. Again, it's a long trip for you to go to pick it up. So you're not making a special trip to get Lithuanian beer. This is available on the other side of Brooklyn when I go shopping, so it's not out of my way or anything. This 16.9 ounce bottle was $3.29, which it's competitively priced. It's not horrible.
I agree with that.
Right.
And if nothing else, it's a novelty thing.
Yeah.
You can make a lot of money with these novelty beers. Look what they do at Ridgeway with those Mad Elf and Lump of Coal, all those Christmas stouts. That's
true. I saw Mad Elf in the co-op, but it was like $3.25, which to me seemed expensive. I've had it in the past. It's a good beer. I've never thought it was great beer.
No, do you know what I'm talking about? From Ridgeway Brewing in England, they make the Bad Elf, Insanely Bad Elf.
Oh yeah, I've had those. I think I've had those too. I guess what I was thinking of is the one. Isn't there one that Trogs brews?
Trogs, yeah. The Mad Elf. The Mad Elf.
And that I thought that it had gotten overpriced all of a sudden. I don't know why for this season.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Right. And because
I like having fans. It's nice having fans. John, who is my old fan from the past who doesn't come on these shows anymore? There was one guy who was on, and a couple of times he made comments. I can't remember who it is now. It goes back. It's probably 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I can't. Oh man,
and it's something that's not going to come back. I didn't write it down at the time.
I think it was Victor something, or
I can't remember. But
I'll have to look back for that. But yeah, you've had a few fans over the years, Michael.
Okay, but whatever it is, I'll be looking forward to having this Lithuanian beer as well. and we'll see what happens with it. I think we have had it though, because it's funny. The other people who come during the summer to the beach club also have access to the same store, and they'll buy it occasionally and throw it in. And like I say, it's hit or miss. They do very well, or they don't do middle though. It's well or bad. It's not like we have
There's
one.
no in between with them.
You know, there's not middle ground.
They don't
You
do
either
mid
like
range.
it or you don't.
Yeah, they don't do mid range.
No mid range, and that's it. 19.5%. That's heavy.
no.
Yeah, Josh
No,
has
no.
quite a cellar himself. He has a lot of those high ABV beers that he's been keeping around in his closet for a few years. 19.5%. Wow.
Don't drink it. Don't drink it.
Josh is pretty lucky now because there's now another half beer brewery or location in Virginia. Or I guess it's actually, I think, in DC. I think it's in Washington, DC, but very close to where Josh lives. And from what I've heard from people who've gone, they have pretty much the full array of the other half beers. They're another one like the one you mentioned, John, before that still makes a really good double IPA. Those top end double IPAs that some of the other companies are trying to duplicate, but really have not been able to duplicate. But
John and
we've discussed the IPA thing before. It's kind of at some level, it's gone its course, and now I like New England IPAs, not all of them, but some. But I'm less likely now to seek out ones unless somebody tells me they're good. I'm not looking to try, old style IPAs which have come through and gone and they're gone.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I'll show you something.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, Josh says in DC, other half is in bottle shops around.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing, and they're supposed to be in Philadelphia is their next city they're going to be in. It hasn't happened yet, but that's their future site.
First question, John and Illy, you host it next Sunday?
Yes, I will be here next Sunday.
All right. And
that's the 9th. Next Sunday is the 9th.
The 9th. I bought this at Trader Joe's. It was $4.99 a 6-pack. I drank one, not on a video. I just drank it. Watch him.
Oh, the Bosun. Wow, that must be new. I've never heard of that. Here,
guess how many video reviews are on the internet?
0, but soon to be 1.
Right, you're right. How'd you guess? Well, they're Michael was talking about this too. They're stepping up their game. This is made with Mosaic, Ella, and Citra hops. Mosaic, Ella, and Citra hops. They claim it's a hazy IPA. I poured it. I didn't see it was too hazy. It seemed kind of clear to me. 6.1% alcohol. I like this company because Rhinelander always puts the specs on the side of the can. So on the side it says, right here, here's the specs. It says 54 IBUs. Original gravity of 16.5. The appearance is light orange and hazy. Well, barely hazy, but it is light orange. And it was, I guess, packaged on the date of 3/07/21 because it's got the Best Buy of 3/07/22. I mean, it's not gonna be hoppy after a year, but it's pretty fresh. And I was very impressed with this beer off camera. Like I said, I didn't do a video yet. I was thinking, wow, for $4.99. Here's a hazy IPA that's kicking the butt of a lot of these wretched things on the market. So I was happy. I know you two guys would pay $4.99 for a 6-pack without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never seen that one before. And admittedly, I haven't been in Trader Joe's for a little while. So next time I go, I will definitely look. I would buy a 6-pack of that for sure.
Yeah, it's new. I mean, it's brand new. It just hit the market. When I saw it, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh, yeah, I know what I'm buying today.
But it seems like what I'm saying, John, the hazy ones are the ones, or the hazy type ones are the ones which I am willing to still drink, because I guess my socks have been knocked off too much with, the ones we've discussed before, the resiny, the piney, the high IBU ones where your taste buds feel like, you sent them through the ringer and you don't want to drink beer anymore after you have one of those beers. And I like resin, to give you one example in 6 Point. I like the resin, but it should be the last beer you drink, and it's a high alcohol, so maybe it should be the only one you drink. I don't know. It's up to you and what your body can take.
So
I less. That's all.
I wanted to make one. We're going on an hour, so we'll wrap it up here. But we're talking about these IPAs. Do you guys notice that? And I've noticed this recently. But have you guys noticed that, especially here, eastern part of the U.S. and of course up in the New England area, all these crap breweries that are brewing these New England IPAs, these juice bombs, these doubles, right? We're talking about double IPAs. It'll just say double IPA on the label. They don't classify it as a juicy or a New England style. Everything that they brew up there now is a juicy IPA. And if it's not, then they'll classify it. They'll say West Coast style. So whereas before everything used to be, you would assume that it was a traditional or West Coast IPA unless it specified juicy or hazy on it. Now, at least in this part of the country, it's the reverse. Everything is assumed to be a juice bomb, a hazy IPA. Even the double IPAs, they just say double IPAs. You can assume that they're going to be juicy IPAs unless they specify that it's a traditional or a West Coast IPA. So it's reversed as to, what it used to be.
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
But that,
I was going to say, John, I don't, look at some of the data, and there must be data about it, but I would say that New England IPAs probably account for about 80% of the IPAs.
The West Coast market is really, taking a hit with all these juice bombs.
It looks that way now. Sierra Nevada still, Lagunitas are still brewing them, so it's not like there's none.
One more thing. I just thought of it.
Must be Caitlin. I'm just joking. All right. Anyway, gotta run and get that call now.
He's getting something. It's not a call.
I just thought of this before show and tell. So Deschutes, which we just started getting around here. This is their Royal Fresh Imperial IPA. This is a West Coast style. It is 9% and 70 IBUs. Never had it. Looking forward to trying it. And then
won't see that in Louisiana.
Now owned by a Canadian cannabis company, Sweetwater 420. This is the Imperial 420, 9.1%. Both of these are in the stovepipe 19.2 ounce cans. And I don't know if you guys, I know Jay will probably see this one down there, the Sweetwater. I don't know, Michael.
I've seen the straight one, just the regular 420.
Right, this one is new. This is a newer one. They just came out with us. Jay, you don't get Sweetwater down there?
Not really like those cans. I would be surprised to see that.
Okay.
I will look for it because I think I've had now. Do I always get my Sweetwater, or did it come from my nephew in North Carolina? Maybe he has access to Sweetwater. I don't. But I have had some Sweetwater stuff before, and that's it. So we'll have to see what happens. We could give a couple of fast plugs if you want. Bumpy still does his Monday show. If you have a new beer you've never had before, and he takes lie detector tests on the way in, so be careful. Then you can come on his show.
You've also got, of course, Ron's already mentioned his show on Wednesday nights. We got the winter beer. Well, winter beers for the month of January, I believe, and then miscellaneous brew reviews. I'll give him. He was in the chat earlier. He does a Thursday show. He didn't do it last week, but it could have just been with the New Year's and work and all that. But the Thursday beer review show, he'll do 4 beers consecutively and review them all on his channel in about an hour. He usually goes about an hour. It's a pretty good show. I like the concept. And you've got Food Fridays on Alex's channel.
Beer Man on Tuesday.
Beer and Cheese Tuesday.
Sometimes it has a theme. Sometimes a different cheese. Sometimes a different beer. So you have to check with beer.
Then on Wednesday, before we start our Joker's Wild Wednesday or Wildcard Wednesday, he does the like the porter thing? What's, you know?
Oh, the beer style. Bring
Yeah.
a porter, bring a stout, bring whatever. You know, they talk about the malts and the hops and the style and the different. It's an educational show, folks. But yeah, Beer Man has a lot of interesting ideas that he incorporates in the shows on his channel. I got to join a beer and cheese again soon. It's been a while.
He's close to having his thing set up too, where he'll be brewing his own beer.
Right, he's got his own brewery set up. He's almost done with that, so that will be exciting. There's an update video that he put out on his channel about a week and a half ago, so y'all go check that out. It's pretty cool stuff. All right, and then Jeremy's in the chat. Jeremy does a Thursday night show as well. It's kind of like a just a hangout show, and actually no, it's usually on Friday. He's been doing it on Thursday lately, but I think usually it's a Friday show. Anyway, Jeremy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, go check out Jeremy JB's Hangout. He has a good channel as well, and he's pretty good with video editing. There's some funny stuff. He did an ASMR beer review recently, which was pretty funny, featuring Drewski Brewski. But you'll have to watch it to see how he does that.
Using my channel.
All right, so let's see. Jeremy's talking about the shoots. He just started getting it last year. Good stuff. Friar Tuck, was that Michael's fan? That's one of Michael's fans, but that's not the one that we were thinking of. And Jules is in the chat. Smash that like, please. Cheers. Cheers to you, Jules. All right, we are just over an hour, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank Michael Kormeroff and Mr. Ronald Terrio for joining me on this fine Stout Sunday morning. Thanks to everybody in the chat. We really appreciate it. We wouldn't be here without you guys. Had some great comments today. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, enjoy your football, whatever it is that you do on Sunday afternoon. And we'll see you here all next week at 10:30 Eastern, right here on Georgia Beer Reviews. Until then, everybody, cheers.
Have a good week, everybody.